speaking of that, man, so lately Vlad has been putting a lot of video out about you. How did you guys meet to begin with?
DJ Vlad was somebody I met on Brazil Street.
Okay.
So when the game was rising, Brazil Street is the home of Black Wall Street. This is the Game, Big Face, and G-Rod's first recording label.
Right.
And it was smack dead in the center of their neighborhood, in their community, you know, where they're from. A street called Brazil Street off of Wilmington. And Vlad came over there. Now, I hadn't really heard of Vlad quite yet because I wasn't in on the, like, music scene enough to listen to a mixtape from somebody. But, you know, when I met him, I got aware really fast, you know what I mean? Like, he was somebody from the Bay Area that was DJing and making mixtapes. He was pretty prominent in that scene if we have a prominent mixtape scene. Like, we don't have a huge prominent mixtape scene, but he is one of those guys. DJ Ski, Vlad, Warrior, Mick Bean, and there was a few guys that were like making noise, and Vlad was one of the guys.
Okay.
So I met him with a Game. When Game first met him, we met him together.
Okay. How many years ago was that then? That was
2004.
Okay. Yeah, that was a while ago.
Maybe 2005.
Okay. All right. So, I mean, so did you tell him that you were, at some point in time in your relationship, did you kind of portray yourself as, you know, a big time gang member, or, you know, because he said you even took him around the area and stuff?
I mean, I think it was kind of well documented that I was somewhat of a popular gang member at that point pursuing music.
Okay.
So when he was launching VladTv, I mean, he hadn't even had probably 10 interviews. Like, he was still, you know, I think he saw the scene on the East Coast with the DVDs, and he decided he was going to do his own thing. And it was a great compliment to his mixtapes. Yeah. So, you know, he was like, hey, I want to do an interview. And I was like, okay, cool. And he was like, can I come to your neighborhood? I'm like, yeah, come on. You know what I mean? And he came and, you know, he saw how we congregate. You know, we probably out there just hanging out and watch 20 deep, 30 deep, you know, doing the thing. And it was obvious, you know, even being a Crip and being around Game and all of the power rules, it was a level of, like, obviousness to what I represented outside of my reputation before I met him.
Right.
So I think he knew at that point already that Glasses is a pretty well-known and respected Crip.
Okay.
Okay, so now do you remember the night when he called you because he got into it with a girlfriend's husband or something?
I remember it like the back of my hand.
So what happened?
I mean, that's what the whole song, Dan from VladTv, is about.
Yeah, so what happened?
Yeah. So again, it's one of those situations where, like, I've heard his version of the story. An interviewer that walks around with a bodyguard, I think I just struggle to believe that people would believe that this person could beat somebody up naked that was strong enough to, you know, they're ex-con from prison, they scaled a 2-story building, and they punch you through glass, and you beat that person within inches of their life while you were naked. But you were scared, so you called me to go get a wallet from the girl, right, that, you know, the guy that went to jail, you beat within inches of his life, you know, that same night or the next, within hours, you know what I'm saying? You were scared that this person got out, that you beat within inches of their life. But the fact that somebody could believe that story is hilarious to me. I just find that hilarious. Like, you know, people, if somebody believes Vlad, he's an interviewer that has a bodyguard.
Yeah.
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 It's like if Barbara Walters walked around with a bodyguard.
Right.
You know, or like, you know, I met Jillian Barton a few times. She never had a bodyguard, you know, so I don't think he would be the symbol of brave, you know, in that regard. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if courage is the two things that go together versus, you know, that. So when I tell the story, it's exactly how I remember it. You know, it was somebody that, you know, I was fond of. Like, I fucked with him. You know what I mean? He was doing this thing. Like, you know, we didn't have this long-term relationship, but we were pretty cool and cordial. And it hit me, right, that he asked me if he was having a problem. He wouldn't be having a problem if he beat somebody up. So I'm going through my mind like, this would be a completely different story than I remember. Because at that time, you couldn't ask me to go anywhere in LA. Like, you met me hanging around 100 to 200 power rooms every day.
Right.
Like, that's how you met me.
Right.
So there's no neighborhood you could take me into in Los Angeles that would have had any, I would have thought twice, because where you met me at is around 200 power rooms. So being a Crip around a bunch of Bloods already kind of washes the concept that some girl that you were sleeping with and you beat her boyfriend within inches of his life, you would be scared to get him. That would put fear into my heart.
Right.
I don't know how, but again, this is the internet and social media is different. People can create their own characters.
Yeah.
So I think I'm watching it happen in real time. You know what I mean? Somebody create a character that doesn't align with nothing that they are in real life, or align with what you could even believe about them.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that makes
So
sense.
that's why Aaron from VladTv tells the whole story. It's like, this is exactly how it happened to the team.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't even like the story, honestly, in the story, I offered him. And he didn't want my help. He just wanted a pistol.
Yeah.
And I just was like, yeah, no.
Right.
I thought about it because, we were cool, but it's like, bro, you got enough money to buy a weapon. Like, why would you need a weapon from me?
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
It didn't feel right.
Well, and I mean, you gotta put you in, right. You gotta protect yourself. I mean, you can't just hand a weapon to somebody, that.
If he get caught, he gonna say, Glasses, give it to me.
Exactly.
But he said other thing too, right? He said after he beat the guy, the cop let him back in the apartment.
Right. Right.
So if you went back into the apartment, why didn't you pick up your wallet and everything else you need from that apartment?
Yeah. Yeah.
It just sounds crazy.
Like, to me, that's not a hole in that story.
I took my time and I listened to the story that he told. And I'm not gonna lie, man, I laughed so hard. Like, all of us that know the real story that was around, because it wasn't like it was something, like, I told everybody what happened instantly. So it's people that me and him know mutually, that were around, and we just, we get it. It's the internet. That's why I couldn't be mad at Vlad. I'm not gonna call him out of his name or nothing. It's, this is the internet. So maybe he looked at the situation as me trying to shame him versus me really putting out an idea, trying to say, brother, why is you still tripping with me? You know what I mean? Like, and I know it's a problem. I know the stuff you're saying about me to other people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I know kind of how, and it's not like saying you're insulting me, but you feel like you don't want to have nothing to do with me because you're still upset with me about this idea that saved your life.
Right.
Like, you be in prison for the rest of your life, you gonna use this weapon and hurt somebody. And I never thought he would say anything, because in my mind, I'm like, he's not humble enough or he doesn't practice enough humility to say, hey, you know what? I need to talk to this dude. He really didn't do anything wrong to me, because in my mind, that would have been the right thing to do. Like, you know what? G is somebody I considered a friend, and this was one of those moments that blah, blah, blah. But, he's grown enough to understand why it makes sense not to give him a weapon.
Yeah.
I know he went past the age to where he knows better.
Right. Right.